Question number 27. The coordinates of the endpoints of segment AB are -6, -5, and 4, 0. Point P is on segment AB. Determine and state the coordinates of point P such that AP to PB is in a 2 to 3 ratio. All right, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the objective. We have got to figure out what the coordinates are of point P. How precisely do we do that? Well, we know that we've got a segment, right? And we know that on one end, we've got A. The other end, we've got B. And it says, and this is super duper important, that this segment is in a 2 to 3 ratio. What does that mean? That means that this segment is broken up into 5 equal parts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. And our objective is to find point P. And where is point P? It says that it's located where it breaks this segment into a 2 to 3 ratio. And that means where it splits it up into 2 parts and 3 parts. So this is where point P is going to be. And we've got to figure out what the coordinates are for that location. All right, so how are we going to go about doing this? Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use this handy dandy chart to help us figure out the change per part. So we know that the, let's see, that the x values are -6 for A and 4 for B. And we know that the y values are -5 for A and 0 for B. Great. So what we need to do is we need to figure out the change per part so we can see how much it's jumping as it goes from one part to the next and so on and so forth. And we're going to stop when we get right here because, again, this is where this location is where it splits the segment into a 2 to 3 ratio. All right, so what we're going to need to do is figure out what the distance is, and we're going to start with the x values. Beautiful. And so we're going to do 4 minus -6. And I know that 4 minus -6 is +10. And what we're going to do now is we're going to divide this by the number of parts. And how many are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course. So we're going to do 10 divided by 5. And that gives us +2. So the x values are going to increase by 2 units for each part. And I'll elaborate on that in a moment. And so let's take a look at the y values. We're going to do 0 minus -5. Amazing. And 0 minus -5 is what? It's +5. And so we're going to do +5. That's the distance between A and B, right? Divided by the number of parts. And so that's going to give us +1. Amazing. All right. So now what we need to do is add 2 to the x values, starting with A. And when we do that, we know that -6 plus 2 is -4. And then -4 plus 2 is -2. Great. So now we're going to need to determine the y value for point P. And we know that we're increasing by 1 starting at -5. And so -5 plus 1 is, of course, -4. Great. And then -4 plus 1 is -3. So we just figured out the coordinate of point P. Now to earn full credit, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to write a statement that says simply point P is the point -2, -3, and you will earn yourself full credit.